Right now, today, somewhere in Canada, a senior is going to open their banking app and find nothing there. Not less, not delayed, nothing. No letter explained it. No phone call warned them. The payment that has supported them for years simply did not arrive. This is happening to thousands of Canadian seniors this July, and it is entirely preventable. I have read through the real numbers on this, government reminder letters sent, payments halted, the exact mechanics of why it happens. And I want to walk you through every part of it slowly and clearly, so that by the time this video ends, you are not left with any doubt about where you stand. I am going to tell you exactly why this is happening, who it is happening to, the real scale of the problem, and the one simple action that stops it completely. If you receive the guaranteed income supplement, or someone you love does, do not look away from this video, even for a moment, because the information in the next several minutes could be the difference between thousands of dollars staying in your account or disappearing without warning. By the end, you will know exactly where you stand and exactly what to do about it in the next 10 minutes if you need to. Before we continue, if you are not subscribed yet, please do it now. This channel exists to warn you before the deadline, not explain things after the money is already gone. Every benefit change, every deadline, every threshold adjustment that affects Canadian seniors this year, I cover it here before it costs you money, not after. Hit subscribe, turn on the bell. It takes 3 seconds and could protect thousands of dollars a year. Here is exactly what is happening, in plain language, with no confusing government jargon. Every single July, Service Canada recalculates and renews everyone's GIS for the upcoming benefit year. This is not optional, and it is not something that happens once and is finished. It happens every year, for every single recipient automatically, whether you notice it or not. To do that recalculation, Service Canada needs one specific thing from you: your most recent income tax return. For this July's recalculation, that means your 2025 tax return, which was due by April 30th, 2026. If that return was not filed, for any reason at all, Service Canada has no income information to work with. They cannot guess, they cannot estimate, they cannot simply carry forward last year's numbers indefinitely, and without that information, they cannot legally continue your payment. So the system does the only thing it is built to do: it stops. This is not a punishment. It is not a mistake by Service Canada, and it is not them being unfair to you or singling you out in any way. It is simply what happens automatically when the paperwork is missing, and it happens to thousands of people every single year, in every province, across every income level among low-income seniors who rely on this support. I want to be very clear about something important here, because it changes how you should think about this entire situation. Filing your taxes is not just a legal obligation that exists somewhere in the background of your life. For GIS recipients specifically, it is the single action that keeps this entire benefit alive year after year, like a renewal that has to happen on schedule. Most seniors who have filed every year without issue never think twice about this. It happens quietly in the background, and their payments simply continue without interruption. But for the seniors who miss this one step, even by accident, even with the best of intentions, the consequence is immediate, and it is severe. Here is how big this problem actually is, and I want to share the real figures with you because they are larger than most people assume, and larger than most news coverage ever explains clearly. In recent years, the federal government has publicly confirmed that tens of thousands of seniors risk losing benefits because they have not filed their taxes in time. In one recent year alone, Service Canada had to send reminder notices to 63,000 seniors who had not yet filed their returns. Think about that number for a moment and really sit with it. 63,000 individual letters sent to 63,000 individual households because 63,000 individual seniors had not completed one piece of paperwork that most of them probably did not even realize was this important. And in years past, before some of the more recent improvements to the system, as many as 105,000 seniors saw their payments halted in a single year. That figure has come down somewhat in more recent years, partly because of better systems, more reminder letters, and improved outreach, but it has never reached zero, and it likely never will completely. This is not a rare glitch affecting a small handful of unlucky people on the margins. This happens at scale, every single year, to real people who depend on this exact income to cover rent, groceries, heating bills, and medication. And the part that should concern you most, more than any single number I have just given you, the government does not call you to warn you before this happens. There is no phone call, no knock on the door, no friendly check-in from a neighbor or social worker. The silence is the warning if you know to look for it, and most people simply do not know to look. That is exactly why I'm making this video right now, in the weeks leading up to the July payment cycle, instead of after the fact when it would already be too late for many people watching. Let me put real numbers on this, because the numbers are what make this serious rather than just theoretical. For a single senior receiving the maximum guaranteed income supplement, that is over $1,100 every single month. Combined with the old age security pension, that is the financial foundation that keeps Canada's lowest income seniors above the poverty line. For many recipients, this is not extra money on top of other income. For many, it is the majority of what they have to live on each month. Over $13,000 a year, gone. Not reduced, gone. And here is the part most people do not realize until it is already too late to do anything about it. Retroactive GIS payments can only be recovered for up to 11 months. That sounds generous on the surface. 11 months feels like a long time, but think about how quickly 11 months can pass when you do not even realize there is a problem. Any month beyond that 11-month window is not delayed. It is not pending. It is permanently lost income that no amount of paperwork, no appeal, and no phone call can ever bring back. This is the single most important reason not to wait, not to assume it will sort itself out, and not to put this off until next week. Some seniors are at a meaningfully higher risk of this happening to them than others. Listen carefully if any of this sounds like you, or like someone you know. If you believe you had no income at all in 2025, you may have assumed you did not need to file. That single assumption is exactly what triggers a suspension. This is, in my experience reviewing how this plays out, the single most common reason GIS recipients get caught by surprise. Zero income feels like nothing to report, but it is exactly the opposite. If you usually rely on a family member, a child, or an accountant to file for you, and that arrangement fell through this year for any reason, illness, distance, a falling out, simply being busy, your return may simply not exist yet. This is more common than people think, especially among seniors who have never filed taxes themselves and have always depended on someone else. If you moved this year, changed banks, switched mailing addresses, or had any change in how your paperwork normally arrives, documents may have gotten lost in the shuffle. A change of address alone can mean an important reminder letter from Service Canada simply never reaches you, even though they sent it on time. And if you simply have not gotten around to it yet because life got busy, because it felt overwhelming, because you were not sure where to start, you are not alone, and there is still time, but the time is running out. I want to say this clearly because I think it matters. None of these situations make you careless or irresponsible. They make you human. Now here is the good news, and I genuinely want you to hear this part because this entire video has built up to something very simple. This entire problem has one simple fix. You do not need a lawyer. You do not need to fight anyone. You do not need to prove anything complicated. You just need to file. Even if you had zero income in 2025, you still file a return showing zero. That single action on its own restarts the entire process. It typically takes about 10 minutes. It protects over $13,000 a year. Read that again. 10 minutes against $13,000. There is no other action available to a Canadian senior anywhere in the benefit system that protects this much money for this little effort. And if the cost of filing or the complexity of the forms or simply not knowing where to begin has been holding you back, that excuse no longer applies. The Community Volunteer Income Tax Program offers completely free tax filing help for low-income seniors across every single province and territory in Canada. These are real volunteers, often retired accountants or trained community members, sitting down with you in person and walking through the entire return together. You can find a clinic near you simply by searching canada.ca/CVITP or by calling Service Canada directly and asking them to point you to one nearby. There is no shame in needing help with this. Thousands of seniors use these free clinics every single year, and the volunteers running them do this specifically because they want to help. Let me give you the exact steps in order so there is absolutely no confusion about what to do after this video ends. Step 1. Find out today, not next week, whether your 2025 return has actually been filed and received by the CRA. Log into your My Service Canada account at canada.ca or call 1-800-277-9914 and ask them directly using these exact words. Has my 2025 tax return been received and processed? Step 2. If it has not been filed, file it immediately, even if your income was zero, even if you think it does not matter. If you need help, call 1-800-277-9914 and ask Service Canada to direct you to the nearest free Community Volunteer Income Tax Program clinic in your area. Step 3. Once it is filed, follow up. Do not simply assume the system will fix itself instantly because processing takes time. Call back after a week or two and confirm that your GIS payment has actually been reinstated and is reflected correctly in your account. Step 4. If a payment was already missed before you filed, ask specifically and clearly about retroactive payment. Remember, this retroactive window is limited to 11 months, so the sooner you act on all of this, the more of your own money you protect. Write these two numbers down right now before you forget. 1-800-277-9914 for Service Canada and canada.ca/CVITP for free tax help. I want to end with this. The senior who opens their banking app this July and finds nothing there is not careless. They are not irresponsible. They are someone who, for one of 100 understandable reasons we talked about today, missed one piece of paperwork. And the system, doing exactly what it is built to do, paused their support without ever picking up the phone to warn them. That is fixable. Today, in about 10 minutes, for free, if you need the help. If you receive GIS, please take 5 minutes right after this video ends and confirm your return is filed and received. And if you know a senior who might have missed this, call them. Not a text message, not a social media share, an actual phone call, today, in your own voice. The people most at risk of losing this benefit are very often the least likely to be watching videos like this one, simply because they are not online as much. Your phone call today could genuinely be the only warning they ever get before this July's payment cycle locks in. If this video helped you today, please consider subscribing. There are more changes coming to CPP, OAS, and GIS later this year, and I will walk you through every single one of them with the same level of detail. Thank you for staying with me through all of this. I will see you in the next one.